Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of the Scratch a Track podcast presented by the Dude and Grimm Show. I am the Dude.
And I'm Grimm, and today we are going to talk about Wincing the Night Away by the Shins. And I wanted to hold up my CD, but I couldn't find it.
Well, mine's back in Denver, but yeah.
I just couldn't find mine. Dude, I don't have one. And I guess the other thing is, why have I not picked this up on vinyl by now? I have Shoots Too Narrow, but this I just hadn't picked this up yet. But I will be, especially because at 41 minutes and 47 seconds clocking in, that is a perfect length for a single LP, which I really like.
It is. And I can't wait to get into
this and
talking about it more. But since you brought it up,
yeah.
Hey, everybody. We think you guys should just like, subscribe, and comment below.
Pretty please with a cherry on top.
It would be so nice. It would be so nice. In fact, if you could do it twice, that would be great. But I don't think you can do that. So Also, we just want to quickly remind everybody that this is a podcast where we pick some of our favorite albums, actually our most favorite albums. And as perfect as they are, which they are because, I mean, we fucking picked them.
We sure as hell didn't record them.
We didn't, but we sure as hell listened to them. We have to pick what track we would scratch off. And it's a fun little game to play. We think you should play too. We think you should play with your friends. We also think you should comment below and let us know what track you would scratch off.
Yeah, for sure.
As hard as it might be.
And don't say none of them because, dude, I just said I have the CD. That could very well be scratched right now. And you will find out that if it is, I'll tell you which one that I would,
brought it to the beach, man.
Yeah, just
brought it to the beach.
The fucking sand.
The sand, like the sand people. All right. Third studio album by the Shins, released on Sub Pop, January 23rd, 2007, my friend. This is, so I think you said earlier offline that this, that Shoots Too Narrow is kind of your favorite album there. This happens to be mine.
This would be my close second because I think this is a really great one, but got to give a shout out to our friend, Mr. Forrest Bartholomew Karbowski, because I believe he is the gentleman that introduced me to the Shins, because I believe he had a copy of Shoots Too Narrow late in college or thereabouts.
Yeah, he would have.
I remember listening to that album and being like, oh man, this is fantastic. And then of course, this would have been next. And so by that time I was kind of following them on my own and, got this when it came out, and the rest is history.
Well, there's a couple things before we get kind of more into the album this is where the internet was kind of changing and things were happening. Yeah. And first of all, they previewed the album in its entirety on their MySpace page. Do you remember those people? Wow. A MySpace page. That's pretty tricky.
Yeah, dude, because fucking Tom was everyone's friend.
And
that's the thing. When you were down on your luck on MySpace, you could always come back to Tom. He was always there for you.
One friend. There was always one friend.
Always had Tom, even when everyone else told you to go get fucked. You always had Tom.
And that definitely happened. You always had Tom. But dude, I don't know if you read this, but I thought it was really trippy. And this made me think about a few things and make some connections who introduced me to this album. So a promotional copy. This album came out, like I think I just said, January 23rd, 2007. Now, a promotional copy was leaked actually in October of 2006.
Oh.
And I believe that's how I heard it, because over Christmas break, I think I was back here in Michigan over Christmas break, hanging out with a good friend of ours, Jake Perry. We used to drive around a lot, listen to music.
What would you do when you were driving around?
Just drive around.
Just checking out the scenery?
In Muskegon. Yeah, at night. And
I used to drive around like that too a lot.
I remember him putting this in and being like, oh, hey, this is like a bootlegged copy of, the Shins' new album. I don't even think I'd listened to any previous Shins before that, but he put it in. You put it in. I was like, wow. Way. Yeah. I was
my God. By this point, I had picked up like Inverted World and shit on my own. Like
well, fuck me. So
kind of where I was going.
Yeah, pretty much. You know.
No, but
I guess you could take the rest of the episode. So I'll just,
but honestly, though, what a cool way to get introduced.
I'm sure it was like the bootlegged version. So it was really funny when I was kind of doing research and heard that it had gotten leaked. Well, I'm guessing that was like the leaked copy because it definitely hadn't been out yet. And that's what we were listening to. So, but then dude, even iTunes even iTunes on January 9th, they accidentally put out the album for sale like 2 weeks early. And it was awesome. It was up for like a day, and then somebody realized it, and they took it down for sale. But
here's the thing: if you bought it early, did you get like grandfathered in?
I'm sure you did. I'm sure if you bought it, I'm sure you downloaded it because this was before the cloud and all that bullshit.
Yeah, like back even when you actually owned music, and that's the thing. I remember there was even a period where you could buy digital music from Amazon. But like you would download it, like you owned it. It wasn't like it authorized it to your device. And now I don't even know if that happens. The best thing that I think bands do now is when you buy a vinyl LP, when you get the download card, because then you actually own that.
I'm a big fan of it. Yep, the digital download. So.
Even though I listen to a streaming service all the time.
All the time. That's pretty much what it is. So, dude, this album came out, and I actually saw the Shins on this tour. And guess who opened up for them on this tour? None other. Oh. Okay, you guess. No,
I was going to say Glenn Danzig. No, I don't know.
Absolutely not. But is equally as, I can't even search for the right word, so I'm just
Glenn Frey.
No. Not at all. Dude, Mr. Snoop Doggy Dogg.
What?
Yes, he opened up. So good story behind this too. Playing in Chicago at the Charter One Pavilion, me and my buddy, Mark the Truth Knuth, we went to go see him. And I got the dates wrong. So we showed up a day early and nobody was there. And you might remember Charter One Pavilion. That's where we saw Nine Inch Nails.
Yes, I do. Down by the water, right?
Down by the water. So there's not a whole lot down there, especially around that venue. So we got down there. The taxi cab driver was like, "Are you sure this is it?" And we're like, "Oh yeah, totally." Yeah, it wasn't. It was just like the wrong day. So we went the next night. He had to make an excuse up to his girlfriend at the time and the whole thing. But anyways, we saw him the next day and it was fucking great. Snoop was really good too.
I guess like maybe his nickname stuck after that.
It was completely my fault. It was 100%. I'll take responsibility. But anyways, getting back into this album. So, dude, James Mercer, who people who aren't familiar with the Shims, is like the creative kind of lead, creative mind of the album.
Like them,
he is the shin, and the knee and the leg and everything else that goes with it. But he had recorded, especially it was their first album. He told this story where he recorded it on what was it? It was a PC Pavilion, I believe is the name. Like it was one of the first like computers and that you could like edit on, or he had a bootlegged copy of Cool Edit Pro. That's what he made
Inverted World on?
Yeah, that's what he made their first record on. If that is their first record, Cool Edit Pro. He had a bootleg copy of it, and he made it on his PC Pavilion. So
bootleg fireworks.
That's kind of cool. But he started producing this album as well, pretty much by himself. And then I think he had gotten a little, I don't know if he was having some creative block or couldn't figure it out. But then other people were brought in, but the main guy was Joe, I believe it's Ciccarelli, dude, who's also produced like Spoon, My Morning Jacket, Elton John, U2, Cage the Elephant. So he's pretty well known. Yeah, I know. But also, dude, another guy, Phil Eck produced a couple songs who did
Modest Mouse, and
he did Lonesome Crowd West too. So he did some stuff on this album, but initially it was John Ciccarelli who Mercer just kind of reached out to and was like, hey, I'm kind of struggling here, and just wanted to pick his brain a little bit. But then you brought him on kind of more in a professional capacity. And they worked for, I think, about 2 months recording, mixing, doing their thing and stuff.
So, dude,
you were saying,
yeah, want to know a nice tie back? Mm-hmm. Okay. When we were talking about who opened for the Shins, guess who Joe Ciccarelli has also produced? Fucking Glenn Frey. Just to tie that all back together.
It all comes full circle.
Yeah, Glenn Frey. Just
good.
Okay, continue.
Good. I'm gonna sleep so much better tonight.
I know.
I'm gonna get like at
now
least
we saw the Shins.
We did. We saw them. We were talking on our previous episode about the Flaming Lips. Mm-hmm. Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots.
Same festival.
Not Kickapoo. It was the Bottle Rock Festival for this dude's bachelor party. So if you haven't seen the Yoshimi Battles of Pink Robots episode, you should probably do that because it's the one we just put out. So,
and really,
a good friend of ours, put a link.
Go ahead and just go through the fucking list. Like, do them all.
Just
scratch your heart out.
Yep, absolutely. Scratch away. So, yes, the title of this album obviously is Wincing the Night Away, but there's kind of a little play on it too, where Twisting it was kind of off. Yeah, the Sam Cooke song "Twisting the Night Away." Where
go on. Yeah, he kind of. Yeah. Now, one thing I will tell you, Sam Cooke, dude, great Disgraceland episode on Sam Cooke. A lot of shit I didn't know about that guy, dude. Really interesting. I blew me away.
Sweet. Let's go blow.
Because when you listen to Sam Cooke's music and then you hear about like what his life actually was, it is really interesting shit. Anyways.
Wow, that's fucking interesting, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think yeah. So the sort of I wouldn't say the premise, but maybe the premise is the right word. James Mercer talked about his sort of sleeping issues, some sort of insomnia that he's had. And that kind of takes a theme for this episode, or not this episode, this album. And, one of the first tracks is actually called Sleeping Lessons, which he kind of toyed with maybe having that be the name of the album.
Title of the album, yeah.
Yeah, but, some of the songs and everything, but not just the songs and the titles, and even his lyrics. Now, his lyrics are very interesting, and I'd like to talk to you about those a little bit. But to me, it's more the feel of the album, especially the second half of it, really is kind of.
I'm glad you brought that up. It's like the night. It's darkness.
Night. And he talked about how when he was writing this album, a lot of it he was having trouble sleeping and whatnot, and so there were those periods where he couldn't sleep, and it'd be the middle of the night where everything's quiet and there's not a whole lot going on. Most people who don't have sleeping issues are sleeping. So he would do a lot of his writing and creative thinking during that time.
And that was one thing I noticed in the interview that I really liked is he said, with everything that goes on throughout the course of a day, that's one of these times where like your thoughts are truly your own.
Absolutely. I mean, you have peace and quiet around. Like, even for me, like when I used to go into an office and work, now I just do the Dude and Grimm. No, I don't just do the Dude and Grimm show, but
me too.
Someday, sponsors. But it would be cool to get in. It's kind of like when you get into the office early and nobody's there yet, and you just have like that hour or so where you can just like hammer away. I was just like so productive like during that time, so I can totally understand kind of what he's saying here, right? Like, he got up earlier, he couldn't sleep, and he could just focus on the music and on the writing and having that sort of peace and quiet where he's left alone to ponder and think about his life and whatnot. So I think a lot of this album was sort of written or conceived during that. Because he's also said that he doesn't write very well when he's on tour. That's just not kind of his thing.
That's probably pretty disjointed.
Yeah. and you're always going to a different place, a different city, and different things going on, a lot of distractions, crowds. But he also said he writes most of his songs, I think, pretty much by himself on acoustic guitar. He kind of gets the melody, but it's really nothing close to kind of what it becomes until he gets into the studio.
Yeah, which is interesting to me because not like I have really any or a lot of credibility here, but I mean, if I would write a song on an instrument and in my head, I could tell you what it's going to be like. Like I can envision and hear like what it's going to be like. But when he was talking about writing songs, he talked about everything as like the coffeehouse version, which I love because, dude, my in-laws listen to this station on XM all the time when we hang out with them, called the Coffeehouse. And that's exactly what it fucking is. It's just like acoustic covers and shit of other songs and versions. And when he said that, that really like struck me because I could hear exactly what he meant. And I like that because to me, it's like everything's an open book then. If that's how you write the song, like let's just say just an acoustic guitar. I mean, talk about an open book for what it could be.
For sure.
Yeah, I think that's really cool.
It is. Well, and even the whole coffeehouse thing, I saw there's a longer live interview, and I forget what, whose it is, but it's with just him, James Mercer. And he talks about when they kind of got started, they were like playing like in sandwich shops and stuff like that. Like they're an Albuquerque band, but then they quickly kind of migrated up to Portland because that's kind of where there was like a scene because they just couldn't get people in ABQ to go see them. So they went up to Portland and they were like playing sandwich shops. He talks about opening for Modest Mouse even, and Isaac Brock and him, like Isaac called him up and, wanted him to play. I think they had a tour in Texas and wanted him to like open up for Modest Mouse in Texas and whatnot. So,
which is interesting because if I recall correctly, James Mercer sings background vocals on "We Were Dead Before the Ship Even Sank" in the song Florida. I'm pretty sure about that. I'll look it up while we're going, but I'm quite sure that he does do that.
Well, Graham, I'm sure you're right. And if you're not, I'm sure there's a super fan out there who would love to correct you. So super fans, I hope you're listening. That's pretty much for the most part, I think, what I got going into this album. Dude, it debuted at number 2. It was their highest. It was actually the highest chart position for a sub pop record, which I found interesting because Nirvana was on sub pop, but
so is Modest Mouse. A lot of bands on sub pop, but the super fans can kiss my ass because it was Florida. But I did not include that he'd sang vocals on "Miss the Boat" and "We Got Everything" as well. He did background vocals. So, anyways,
all right, moving on. Yep. This was also nominated for a Grammy for Best Alternative Album. So, if you guys haven't heard this, I don't know where the hell you've been, but you should definitely.
Really good album.
I'm sure it lost to somebody really good. Yeah. In 2007, I'm not sure.
Dude, hold up, though. If I'm not mistaken,
good year, right?
Yeah, I think you're talking In Rainbows. You're talking a lot of good shit came out on that dude, Dr. Dog. We All Belong.
Okay, somebody else, look it up. Comment below, please. First one gets a like on your comment.
A swift kick in the nuts.
Maybe even a heart.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to get into the tracks here real quick. But if you haven't liked and subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Because it's like right down there. It's just like down there. It's so easy. Just do it. Yeah. Do it. All right. Grimm, first track, Sleeping Lessons.
Yeah, and I was going to comment on this earlier when you talked about riding around and listening to this album, just driving around, not doing anything else in the car, just purely driving around and listening to this album and the Shins for the first time. And I was thinking to myself, what a cool ass introduction to like not only an album or a song, but like the band too. Cause I really like how it starts out and it builds,
Dude, it's great. It's a great way to start the album because it sounds so dreamy, doesn't it? Just that little intro that they have. It's just so, in a weird way, it has this warm feeling, kind of like this lull that's gonna like lull you to sleep. You're making a stink face. What's up with that?
What the fuck is Pam Berry?
Oh, dude, that's song number 3, dude. It's the little intro song.
Oh, it's like the intro to Phantom Limb.
Yes.
Okay. Where it's like,
yeah.
Because I was listening to it. I had to listen to the album, as a refresher. Not that I hadn't 100 times before, but I listened to the album again, and I was like, I don't know what this shit is. Okay.
Pam Berry. Anyways, we'll get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, this song, dude, it's really cool because it starts off very slow, has a real dreamy sort of feel to it, and then it builds up, man.
Nice synthesizer, little arpeggio.
Dude, so good. Dude, it's so good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then halfway through, dude, it just builds up and kind of explodes. It's a real just kind of, I don't know, upbeat way to start the album. So I'm a big fan of it. Like I thought it was cool. I remember when it first came on, I was like, oh, okay, I can handle this. Like I'll keep listening.
Well, yeah, I remember thinking too, because none of the other albums had started like this. Like, to me, this was like the Shins got a little trippier with this album, and so immediately I was like, I like where this is headed.
I think you freaky and I like you a lot. Exactly. Track number 2, Australia. Now, we talked about, or I mentioned that he doesn't write a whole lot on tour, but he actually did. He actually did write this. Not acid, whatever. He actually did write this song in Australia while he was on tour.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And I don't know. Did you see the music video? Did you watch any of the music videos here?
Dude?
You didn't do your homework, Larry.
I fucked up the timing.
Fucking Larry Sellers.
I wanted to, because what are the videos for this one?
Actually,
Australia's got one. I saw Australia had
Phantom
one.
Limb, and Turn On Me. Yeah, it's fine.
It wouldn't have been my pick, but okay.
I got it. I know.
But dude, anyways, I love Australia. I think it's a really cool song.
Yeah, it's really upbeat. That's what I like about it. It's just got a good flow to it. It kind of keeps the groove going from Sleeping Lessons, the way that kind of song builds and ends and then goes right into Australia.
And I do like that weird part at the beginning where he says time to put the ear covers on, but he sounds like German.
Is that what he says? Okay. Yeah. I was wondering what he says.
Time to put the ear covers on.
Is that what it is? Okay.
I don't know what German. That is, but I really do like it. Yeah.
It's Germans. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a cool song. The video itself, I got to be honest, leaves a little something to be desired. It's basically they're all dressed up in like these sort of orange jumpsuits. And they go to this car dealership and they cut off the balloons and they take them and stuff them in their white truck. And then at the end, they drive this truck into the middle of a field and they let all the balloons out. Now,
so what you're telling me is like
they're
the thumbnail
not environmentally friendly.
No, that's pretty shitty. And what you're telling me is that the thumbnail pretty much
sums it up.
Said it. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's exactly what I'm telling you. But check out the movie or video. You might like it. Might be your
full-length feature film. Okay.
If not, the song is great. Dig
it.
So then we move on to Pam Berry. Now, this is, as you just kind of were questioning.
What the fuck is Pam Berry?
It's basically an intro to Phantom Limb. And now, when I have seen them live, I'm pretty sure that they do play Pam Berry right into Phantom Limb, which is kind of cool.
Dude, you have to. It's like fucking Heartbreaker, Livin' Lovin' Maid.
Not really, but yes, it is just like that. Yeah. But this one is, it's under a minute. And dude, it's kind of funny that, this is a thing, and we just did a Pulp Fiction episode, so if you haven't seen that, in a weird way, it kind of reminds me of Miserlou a little bit.
Just because of the way he's plucking on.
Exactly.
I will not take it back.
Yeah. But it sounds like almost like it's this I guess, little poem that he wrote, this short, dark.
Well, yeah. And that's what's so weird to me is, I mean, I always just, before I listened to it via digital streaming services, I had the CD, and honestly, it's one of those things where it's like, you didn't have to look at the back to see what song you wanted to skip to. So you always just listen to the whole damn album. And I just figured this was Phantom Limb.
Yeah. Just the intro, right?
Yeah.
Yep. It's not, though. It's not. It's Pam Berry.
It is.
But speaking of Phantom Limb, how do you like that segue?
Brilliant.
Yes, dude.
Fucking genius.
Big fan of this song.
Yeah.
Again, I love it's upbeat, very clean in its production.
But it's interesting. It is upbeat, yes, but there are parts where he goes to these chord changes that do have a bit of melancholy in them too. Kind of like when he says another afternoon of the goat head tunes and pilfered booze. So what I can deduce from these lines are that they stole some booze and they spent the afternoon hanging out, drinking the pilfered booze, listening to fucking Goathead Soup by the Rolling Stones. That's
shit.
I know.
Deep dive.
You're welcome. Maybe I didn't watch the fucking videos, but I got that part.
You did. Well, the video is fine. I don't even know if we need to talk about it. It's fine. It's fine. Dude, my favorite line from the song is, this foreign
family
land.
Portrait. Oh.
No, this foreign land with the sprayed on tans and it all feels fine. I'm just like, dude, hey, we're living this beautiful synthetic world. Hey, this is great. Let's just keep doing it. Like, but maybe this is a good little a good time to kind of talk about his lyrics are very interesting. So they're so abstract. I listen to them, I read them. I don't always know what he's saying. So when I actually do read them, I'm like, okay, now that I do know what he's saying, I still don't know what he's saying.
For some reason, what are
your thoughts, man?
So I'm going to go to the interview, those series of interviews that we listened to. And apparently this song is actually about a young lesbian couple. That lived in a small town and they couldn't, have their relationship be public because it was taboo or whatever, which is a really interesting thing to write about. But it makes sense with the whole bit about there's no connection, right? Because because it's all in secret. But for some reason, one of the lyrics, aside from the one that I had mentioned where he references the Rolling Stones, is family portrait circa 95. I don't know why. It's just like it's one of those lines where I'm like, how did you ever write that? It's awesome. It's really great, but I just like because you think about it, you're looking at some old family portrait where everyone's in like dickhead clothes and poverty shoes and stuff.
That was the time where you're like, Mom, thanks. That's the outfit you picked out. Awesome.
Those fucking neon bike shorts are sick.
Dude, you remember the Zuba pants? Like those.
Oh, Zubas. Yeah, those were so badass.
Yeah, dude, I probably still got some hanging up at my dad's. But
I hope they're the Cincinnati Bengals one and you're going straight fucking Tiger King. Oh.
No, I had the Raiders and the Minnesota Vikings. I never wore the Vikings ones though because they were purple and it just, And
it's like, were they ever good back then? It was like my love of the Buffalo Bills. You're just like, why? They're just going to lose another fucking Super Bowl.
Super Bowl time. Dude, they're doing pretty good this year, but they're going to lose to the Chiefs next week or the week after. Yeah. Anyways, moving on.
Dude, my knowledge ends with like Tecmo Super Bowl on NES.
Yeah, dude. You probably can't name 5 players in the NFL right now. Name 2.
Let me get back to you on that.
Okay, all right. Let's go to Sea Legs and we'll see.
Roger Goodell. No. The
Definitely
fucking
not.
commissioner.
Yeah. Hey, he knows that.
Sea
That's
legs.
solid. That's solid. Sea legs. Dude, so here's the thing, man. Dude, sea legs are interesting because have you ever had sea legs before?
Oh, dude, fuck yeah, man. I've been on a couple of, and I've never had it so much as, when I was younger, I went on a couple times I went on a cruise with my family. And dude, you kind of get it, but a cruise ship, it's like being on a fucking aircraft carrier. It's massive and it doesn't wobble much.
Yeah.
But dude, I've gone on 2 sailing vacations with Lisa's family, my wife Lisa's family. And dude, when you're on a catamaran for like a week, dude, it's funny. Like you get out and you go and you're on dry land and you're taking a shower, and dude, in the shower you're just like
Humana.
yeah. And I don't get like motion sickness or anything, but dude, it's so weird once you're on land long enough to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd dock the boat and like go to a bar and get some drinks or something. That's fine. But like for me, it's those moments of like taking a shower where you realize that like
where you
are constantly in motion.
Yeah. Once you're still.
Yeah.
Or once you're in a spot. So I had that when I was in the Faroe Islands. I was just on a boat for maybe like 30 to 45 minutes, man, but the waters are pretty up and down and rough. Yeah. So I was fine. I got in my car and drove to the hotel, chilled out, had a decent night. The next day, I went to the airport and I'm sitting. I finally like sit down for a second. And I felt like I was going to just like fall out of my chair, dude. Yeah. It was nuts. It was not cool. So anyway, Sea Legs. It's a great song.
And that's why I think drinking really goes well with it. Because I don't know if it just kind of evens it out, or at that point you just kind of don't give as much of a shit. But yeah, it is a weird phenomenon.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. But dude, I dig this song. I feel like this, at least for me and my personal taste, I'm not sure. We talked about this being an album. I'm not sure where you would split the album. For me personally, I would split after this song. That's just me. I feel like the songs up to this point are sort of upbeat and full and more. I don't know. They have some more kind of going on. The one thing I will say, you want to know what song this reminds me of? And it goes back to our previous episode on Yoshimi Battles Pink Robots.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Yoshimi Part 1. Because of the way the acoustic...
Sea Legs?
Yeah. The way the acoustic is, the way they strum, it's very choppy. You know how? I
hear you there.
Like that,
especially in the beginning. Yeah,
absolutely. Like that. That's just what I'm saying. I'm not.
No, I hear you.
There's no karate chops in this song.
Yeah, well, and I was gonna say it's darker. Mm-hmm. And see, that's why that's one thing I was gonna mention. Like, obviously, what do I know? Because I'm not in the Shins or really any band that's ever done half of his shit. But, I guess if it were me, I would have swapped this one and Turn on Me, because then after Red Rabbits, like the album goes like dark for a while.
It sure does do black. Yeah, and we'll get to them, but yeah.
Yeah. But this is like the first song that has like any bit of darkness to it. And I like the beats.
The beats. I agree. Totally.
And there's this thing. It sounds like a kabasa or something with that. It's like a shaker, but you don't shake it. You just kind of, because you can control, right. And that always hits with the bass drum, and it gives the kick drum like this weird feeling with it. And I like that. I really like that.
Well, I think it's more towards like the second half of the song. They kind of go into this jam a little bit.
Yeah. Yep.
And
they get the synth.
Oh, dude, they got the synth. And then there's, I think they even, there's some strings in there. And it's now, one thing I wanted to ask you is, I feel like I listened to, and it's very distant. I listened to this with headphones today. My Bose noise canceling ones that are like $300 and they cut out all the time. So thanks, Bose.
I just listen to it on these shits.
Yeah, those shits while you're running and you hit the ground. Okay. And so I felt like I heard a little bit of Fender Rhodes in the background. was, did you hear any synth or any keyboards or anything like that? I mean, it was very slight. I'd love for you to, not now, listen to the song again. And during that jam section, actually during the whole song, I feel like I heard a little Fender Rhodes back there. And that's just me with my virgin
discerning ears.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. I guess I wasn't looking for that. I could see possibly, but I'm going to listen to it again. Just that song, just to, that's cool. No, right on.
To confirm or
disconfirm. I mean, it's not listed in the credits, but in all honesty, there isn't what I'd call a whole hell of a lot about this album. So I would say that anything is possible because I was quite sure, maybe it's a synthesizer they're using, but I thought that they used a Mellotron in Black Wave, but we'll get to that. But that's also not listed. But anyways, go on.
All right. Well, that's all I was going to say about that. I think we could probably move on to
Red Rabbits.
Kiddo Rabbit. Okay.
I like the space in this song.
There's
like with the percussion, and I feel like they had probably watched the Blue Oyster Cult Christopher Walken skit on SNL, and they really heard him out, and they said, you know what, we're going to explore the space, and they did.
Yeah, and this song to me, this is where the album kind of
gets dark,
really chills out, and definitely gets dark.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I was thinking Black Wave. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It does chill out though. Yeah.
Yeah. It has a real sort of dreamy sound to it, and the only thing really kind of carrying the song along, there's this like little like light thumping bass line and that just kind of drives the song. But there's this like, and I don't know what I'm guessing it's a synth. It sounds like water drops in like this large cave. Like it has this kind of like this feel and sound to it, which is really trippy.
Yeah, that's probably synth. And there's some sort of percussive thing with like a xylophone or bells or something that they're using, but they have that I know what you mean.
Maybe some broken bells.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Wow. That was a good
prophetic.
Yep. But like, but you're right. The way that's kind of like enveloped, like that, to get that droplet sound. I know what you mean, though. It does.
Dude, I was gonna say one of the I think it's a line towards the end of the song, which I really like, is like, we've pissed on far too many good intentions held by clever sprites. And they're all standing up for their rights. I just love we've pissed on far too many good intentions. It's like, that sounds about right.
I know. I could never understand exactly what was meant by that, because before that he says we've pissed on far too many sprites and they're all standing up for their rights.
Mm-hmm. And they're all standing. Yeah. Well, that's the thing with his lyrics is I don't want to get too deep into them. I mean, maybe if there's some, if any of you out there like have some insight, like let us know what you guys think, because his lyrics are just so abstract. I feel like
they really are.
They don't, and I'm good with that. Like sometimes you don't need to derive meaning. I remember our buddy Stauffer said sometimes that he read something about Tom York when he sings. It's not so much about what it says, it's about how the words sound. And how that kind of fits. And I feel like with the Shins, the way he sings and some of his lyrics, they're not necessarily rhyming, but they're very rhythmic, and he comes up with a bunch of random things.
Interesting
patterns. They sound good to me. I'll keep listening. So,
as I'm looking at the lyrics, it says, in a vacuum, you recharge to record this. To me, when I heard that, I thought that it said, in a vacuum, you were charged to record this, which is funny because that's like paying to go into the studio, which essentially is a fucking vacuum that you would record in. So anyways, I don't know if I'm right or they're right, or only James Mercer knows.
Well, when you're right, you're right. And you're always right. So,
Turn on Me.
Yes, please do. So there is a music video for this as well. And let me just tell you, my friend, PETA would be pissed. So would fans, started by Chelsea Gamble from Free Animals Now. Okay, so the video. Here we go. There's a whole bunch of things going on. There's this. I wouldn't even call her a quote unquote MILF. There's this older woman in a bathing suit. She's like laying out by the pool. There's another dude.
Is she not hot?
20 years ago, I'm sure she 30, 40, whatever.
I'm going to look this up.
I think you should look this up. But there's like this dude who's like picking leaves out of the pool. There's another guy who's operating a crane. And there's also a one-eyed dog, which is interesting. But then there's this bee, and there's a whole bunch of stuff kind of going on. The song's playing. At the end of the video, the crane with the piano, like the crane driver, the bee, spoiler alert, basically kind of gets all in his face, and he throws coffee all over the crane controls. The crane ends up moving, the piano ends up dropping and crushing the dog. And they kind of show it. I mean, you know it didn't really happen, but it's kind of like, wow, man, you just killed a fucking dog. Like,
wow.
I just wasn't expecting that in a Shins video. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I see what you mean about her. She's kind of crusty.
Yeah. Too much time in the sun. You got to be careful. Like,
dude, yeah, for real.
Be careful. So, anyways, moving on from that. Dude, the song is kind of fun and moves along. And I hear what you're saying about swapping this one for Sea Legs.
Yeah, just because of the order, because I like when it gets into the dark part of the album. I really like that.
And but with this song, dude, I really like the it does have the upbeat part. Maybe they swapped the songs so they wanted to balance the album a little bit. Maybe that's why they did it. But one of the lines I always like is he's like, you know that I was fond of you, fond of YOU. It's like, thanks James, thanks for spelling it out, buddy.
Yeah.
But it's good, dude. It's a simple song. It's got some smooth transitions to it. It's cool. Like, I don't think there's anything that overly like stands out to me about it, but I like the song. It's good.
Wow, this is a weird fucking video, dude.
It's a weird video. Yeah. It's, Anyways. Should we move on to Black Wave?
Oh, dude, please. I love Black Wave.
Dude,
so much. Dude, yeah. Black Wave into Split Needles. Ooh,
okay.
Dude.
Well, I'd like to talk about that a little bit, but start with Black Wave.
Black Wave. I don't know why, but Black Wave kind of reminds me of, wait for it, in Limbo by Radiohead.
Ooh.
Can you see why?
Interesting. Kind of, sort of, maybe. Yeah.
There's just something about it. It's different. It's different. And I was listening to it, like musically, it's a little different to how you'd it. Well, definitely different, but how you'd play it on the guitar. But there's just something about it that reminds me of that. I don't know why, but it just does.
Well, Grimm, I actually am also a little bit disappointed in us because there is a song called Black Wave by a little band called the
Arcade Fire
on Neon Bible.
I know that song.
So songs are the same name. Let's do this.
I'm going to go ahead and add that right now. It's funny you say that because I know that. That's a good song too. That's on
it is.
Neon Bible, right?
Yeah. Well, and it's called Black Wave / Bad Vibrations on the Arcade Fire Neon Bible album. But hey, that might be a future episode coming.
Neon Bible came out first, didn't it? Arcade Fire
2000.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. Anyways, So I will talk about Black Wave for a minute. The what band are we even? The Shins version. So, dude, to me, it's very kind of like dark and mysterious. Like it has that sort of tone to it, right? It's low key and calm. I mean, dude, it sounds like a black wave. It sounds like waves at night a little bit. But I love
really cool song.
One thing I love is like when they get to the second verse, they double the vocals, which even gives it like this more kind of like ghostly, like haunting sound. So this song it's very, very cool. It's very cool. And I do like sort of I feel like the two halves of the album are very different from one another. Even if you keep Sea Legs on one side and Turn on Me on the other, I still feel like
it's still
there's a divide. There is a divide. Mm-hmm. Now let's transition into Split Needles. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I feel like and you mentioned this, that there is they go into each other, but I feel like they could have done a better job with the transition. I feel like they could have done there's something with it where I feel like, yes, Black Wave goes into Split Needles, but I feel like it's not as smooth of a transition. There is
I think that's
there is a cut.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just wish they would have kind of worked it out a little bit better. Personally.
I know, but I do agree with you. But I really do like this because to me, it's kind of got that beat, which kind of brings it almost back to like Sea Legs, just because Sea Legs has like not a drum set beat. It has a beat, right? And this has that too. But it's darker even yet. And they have that section in the middle where the synth, and they like deliberately chop it up. But I couldn't tell if that was a Mellotron or not. To me, it sounded like it could have been like one of the Mellotron kind of synth, but nobody gives a shit about that, so it doesn't matter.
Don't say it doesn't matter.
Just dork asses like me. But for some reason, I really like when they go into that like bridge section. And they close the basement door that sets our teeth to chatter. You never saw it before, and that chord change, but now that hardly matters. Like, oh, that's really good, dude.
Dude, oh,
really good shit.
Yeah.
Oh no, not even that part. So spin the wheel will set you up with some odd convictions. That's the part. Dude, that's the part that's sweet.
And again, this goes back to his lyrics a little bit. There's a part of me that, and this could be said, I'm going to get real deep here. It could be said for so many things in life. It doesn't matter what you say. It just matters how you say it. Sometimes it doesn't matter what you sing. It's how you sing it. And I really like the way he just kind of, his cadence and the way he sings some of these words and lyrics and stuff. It's really cool. Like, even if it doesn't make sense or it's very abstract, I'm like, it sounds good. I like it.
I think it's abstract, but if you really look at the lyrics, I feel like a lot of it is kind of about like just to some degree, like coming of age and dealing with what life throws at you. Because like, just look at that verse that I mentioned and some other things. They'll want you to decide. Eventually it happens. Some gather on one side with all their pearly snapping, and it goes into that. And then you're old enough, boy, too many summers you've enjoyed. So spin the wheel will set you up with some odd convictions. It's just kind of like it's life just tossing you the fucking medicine ball, right?
Yeah, you gotta grab that shit, run with it.
Yeah, I'm perched on the handlebars of a blind man's bike. That's a good line.
That's my favorite line of the song, and I had that in my notes. Like, it's like, yep, that I've been there. Sounds about right.
Yeah,
sounds about right.
Yeah.
Well. On that note, let's go to Girl Sailor.
Yeah.
Girl Sailor. To me, so it's this song, and I believe the next one. This song really sounds like it could have been on one of their earlier albums.
I agree.
It's very straightforward. It's not very production heavy.
No.
It's got some background vocals. Their guitar solos, even on most of their songs, aren't overly less like they don't rip it up and shred it.
And I was going to mention that was one thing I liked about him is I look at him as just like a rock and roll band. Like they don't need to do that because they just write good songs and
that's it. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, with Girl Sailor, that's kind of what I picked up from that. But it felt like it was like, oh man, this could be from what is it? Not Wince, girl.
Inverted World.
Shoots too narrow.
I'd go back to Inverted World on that one.
Yeah, I because it's really stripped down. It is a very stripped down song for sure. So
and the one line that stands out to me that I really like is, "Oh girl, sailor don't sink her," like that. That's
Yep. Yeah, that's it.
Like when you're going with the hazards on, like you don't want to clip a tree or something back there.
Oh man. Definitely not, because only bad things can happen.
After midnight. That's what my barber always said when I was growing up. Only bad things happen after midnight. I've been listening to that record a lot lately, dude. Timepieces, the best of Eric Clapton with After Midnight on it. It's a good one.
We're going to let it all hang down. All right.
Yeah.
Last song, A Comet Appears. Now, I'm sure you read or heard, just like
the birds.
Did. Yeah, the birds, the warblers.
Mm-hmm.
So you hear the birds in this song.
Yep.
And again, this album is kind of about his sort of insomnia, trouble sleeping. But these are the birds in this song are actually birds from like right outside James Mercer's window that I think he would hear once
at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, once dawn was just starting to peak a little bit, the birds would wake up, and he's like, fuck it. So he just stuck a microphone out his window, recorded the birds, and you can hear, I mean, they're there, I think, throughout the whole song. I'm pretty sure.
And I don't know, which I think is really cool because to me it ties together that whole concept from the first song to the last.
Ties the room together.
Oh, dude, yeah. Pissed on your fucking rug. But I really like how it wraps it up. It's
an important part of the process.
Yeah, but it just, to me, I just think it wraps the album up in a really nice way.
Yeah, I think if you're going to end with a song, I think this one is a great way to go out because it's not as dark as maybe a song like Black Wave is.
Yeah.
But it does have that kind of slow deepness to it. It's very peaceful. And I think today I saw like some sort of, graphic or Instagram meme where it was showing like somebody who couldn't sleep and it was like 2 a.m. they're in bed and they're wide awake. 4 a.m. they're in bed and wide awake. 6 a.m. they're in bed and wide awake. And then it was like 10 minutes before your alarm goes off. It's like, you finally fell into that. You're asleep, right? And I feel like this song kind of is that. Again, I feel like this song could be on one of their earlier albums. And I say that more because there is a lower end of production. It still sounds really good, but it's not as full. It doesn't have as much going on as some of the other songs. It is mostly acoustic. I mean, there is some light electric guitar.
Well,
but it's
actually, I think he's playing it on electric.
I think,
but it's clean. It's clean.
Yeah, okay, that's what I mean then. Yeah. That's what I mean.
It's really clean.
Honest mistake.
No, that's fair.
It's gonna have to be.
Well, as I'm watching the video for A Comet Appears,
there's a video.
I'm thinking of, it's basically just them playing it in what looks like their rehearsal space.
That's cool.
But you had mentioned the Fender Rhodes piano that you thought was in the end of Sea Legs?
I think it was Sea Legs, yeah.
Now, they don't have a Fender Rhodes in their rehearsal space, but they do have a Wurlitzer electric piano. So I'm going to listen for that one.
Could be a whirly, yeah.
Could be. Could be a whirly.
Could be a whirly. Maybe a swirly.
So,
well,
dude, which one are you going to give a swirly to? That's the question. What do you scratch off this album?
I don't know. Well, I'm Which one am I going to give an Ambien to?
Oh, yeah, dude. Put that shit to sleep.
Put that shit to sleep.
Lethal inject that motherfucker. Dead man walking. Well,
I guess I'm going to go... I'm going to go with Girl Sailor. That's the one I'm going with. And I say that... we're going overtime. I'm going to say that...
Just say it. We'll do the horn in a minute.
Okay. So... yeah, to me, because I felt like it sounded like a song from one of the earlier albums, and it just didn't maybe fit the album as much. I feel like I really enjoyed the first half of the album in its production, how full and everything it was.
Yeah.
And then the second half of the album, it is a little more stripped down and sort of dreamy and dark and everything. But I felt like maybe this song was just like a little too stripped down. And I can move on, right from Split Needles, which I love, right into the last track, which would be A Comet Appears. So that's what I think.
And I really like that track. I just that it really wraps it up nicely for me. So yeah, that's over. Just giving that a second to sink in. That's son of a biscuit. I kind of figured we'd end up here in the OT zone because that's what I would pick. So
interesting. All right.
What is this honorable mention or is
we're going to overtime? It's Capitals and Islanders.
Yeah, so, overtime.
I mean, LaFontaine shot on the goal. I'm going with Red Rabbits.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my second scratch. If forced, I mean, obviously this album is perfect. But
sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Red Rabbits. I'm sure I had a really good idea of why, but it's a little too slow and driving, and I feel like I know we said you could swap Turn on Me with Sea Legs a little bit. We talked about
make
that.
For a really nice.
There's a part of me that's like, here's the thing: if you cut out Red Rabbits, maybe you don't even need to swap. So,
yeah, but Turn on Me still fucks up the dark part. But anyways, yeah, I see your point. Up the timing. I could see why that would be a second scratch.
What do you got? Bro?
Well, we're not going to double OT today.
Well, good.
Single overtime only.
I don't have it in me.
Yeah, I don't either. I would do Turn on Me, honestly.
Okay.
Good song. I mean, I like the song, but again, just the placement of it, because I feel like Red Rabbits could sneak into the dark second half, not because it's necessarily dark, but because it's just kind of spacey and out there, right? Yep. And Turn on Me is like a return to what had happened in the previous 3 songs. Well, 4 if you count Pam Berry as its own song.
Well, and that's why I'm interested to see what the vinyl looks like and where they make the cut. Because I think if you did, for me, if I did tracks 1 through 5, which ends with Sea Legs, and then if I flipped it over, I could totally go Red Rabbits through the end. And if you took out Turn on Me, then it's
yeah, sure. It's more along the
two separate feelings, man. You got the light side, the dark side of the moon tree. No,
I honestly think you're going to cut after.
Yeah, I mean, mathematically, I think mathematically, that's 11 tracks. So you're either cutting after Sea Legs or Red Rabbits.
Like, subscribe, and comment below.
Probably after Red Rabbits because Pam Berry is so short.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking looking at it. Well, we'll just have to buy her on vinyl and figure it out, dude,
But if any of you out there own this on vinyl, you can be so helpful and let us know and scratch and comment below. We'd love that.
Be sure that you do.
Be sure that you do. Or I might have been killed. So, everyone, please like and subscribe. Please give us your comments. Please give us your scratches, because that's what we do here. That's how the game is played. As perfect as the album is, it never is. So, because the beach is just
Thanks for tuning in.
It's not forgiving. So...
Thanks for tuning in.
Exactly.
The beach is not forgiving.
It's not, dude. Sand. Oh, it's the worst.
And I mean, I get why you would bring your CD. Well, actually, think about. Yeah, I guess I could kind of understand. But if you ever brought a vinyl to the beach, fuck you.
No, you just bring your. Well, yeah, that's.
Fuck you.
That sounds like a hassle. But
yeah.
Anyways, now you just get your phone. Doesn't matter. And Bluetooth speakers. Awesome. All right, it's time to go on the Dude and Grimm Show.
See you later, alligator. Scratch a Track is produced by the Dude and Grimm. Additional music provided by More in the Tims. Copyright 2021, The Dude and Grimm Show.